Does this thing really change my voice? Am I squeaky? I can't hear myself. I wanted to know because the thoughts that I'm having, I want them to be clear. I don't want them to be misunderstood because they sound like a damn mouse. So, is my voice squeaky? I know this thing changes the voice. See, it says talk to change your voice. Can y'all understand me English? Oh, God. My brain is going. My brain is going. And let me tell you, it won't stop. It will not stop going. Look, my hair is a big old mess. So, I was thinking a couple of things. And a lot of these things are common sense thoughts, I guess. But I was thinking, I'm getting sick, ill for one. Flu season, yuck. That's another thing I was thinking. Why is it a damn season? Don't anybody ever question that? Like, I know us awake and know why it's a season because it is man-made. But you know how like regular people, they're always like, oh my God, it's flu season. I gotta freak out. I gotta put sanitizer on my hands. I gotta wash my hands like 30, 40 times a day and all of this stuff. But they don't question why it's called season. Like, you really think the flu just picks a certain time to come every year and screw up everybody's plans and cause chaos and stuff? Like, really? I doubt it. Another thing I was thinking was, why are wakes called wakes when they're dead? They're not really awake. They're sleeping. So that's another thought that ran through my mind a couple of times actually this week. And another thought was, when people are mean to you and like acting harshly, is that really how they feel about themselves? Because I know people always say that, like, oh, you know, she's just starting with you because that's the way she feels about herself. But in all reality, is that really the case? Like, what if they're just pointing out what the fuck's wrong with you without an insecurity? Like, do people ever think that? Maybe you are a messed up person and she's letting you know. Does that mean that she's insecure? No. So doesn't that really depend on the scenario or the person's reputation or their history of existence on how they were with other people and things like that? My face keeps coming off. But, like, a lot of videos, I just saw somebody shared the video. Thank you. A lot of people say these sayings, and I don't really think they dig deep into the thought process of it. Like, really? A lot of them don't make sense. Like, what's another one that doesn't make sense to me? The fake it till you make it, which I mentioned in my earlier video, that just feels like you're setting yourself up for fucking failure. Yeah, let me be fake till I make it. Then you're fake for no reason, wasting all this time on the physical plane when you're supposed to be being your authentic self. Rocking out and being amazing. Like, that's one thing. Another one is, if you can't beat them, join them. Screw that. What the hell? So if you can't stop pedophiles, are you going to become a pedophile now? Like, there are ways to think deeper on certain sayings we say or things like that. I remember people had to explain to me what it meant when people said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. I'm like, why not? Why can't I have a piece of cake? Can I cut that bitch in half and only eat half? And then I have the other half? Like, that's kind of having my cake and eating it too, isn't it? Like, you know, like certain things just have common sense thoughts and you're just like, well, that don't really make no damn sense. And this saying was going on for centuries. Like, so confusing. Our society is so confusing. Truly, truly is. So let me see if I could change this filter while I'm live because now it's starting to annoy me. I look like a high cat. There you go. It didn't give me issues. Now how do I get rid of it? Okay, there you go. So, I don't know, like, there's a lot of things that I feel like we need to kind of like think about deeper into what people mean by it, because I always do kind of mention how people speak in subliminals. Okay, we can say one thing and we totally mean it in an asshole way, or, things like that. Everything's a damn subliminal. TV shows, radio, media, politicians, Hollywood, all this crap's all freaking, like, it's just, it's brainwashing and manipulating and all of this stuff. And it's sad because that's kind of like what rules the world, if you really think about it. The top 5 things to rule the world that work together. I might be missing some because there are actually more than 5, but it's the Federal Reserve, the Congress, CPS, hold on, Hollywood, they're all connected. And you have the politicians. Your president that pretends to be all about you and care about what you mean and what you say and what you want. And no, okay. It's a web. Everything's a web. And God, this incense smells amazing. Sorry, I got ADD. Sometimes shit takes my attention away. But what I mean is, like, there's just a lot of things that I think that people don't dig deeper into the messages on. And it could even mean, like, even people just trying to, like, give you a compliment. A lot of times there's a little, like, shade in there, or a little jab in there, like, oh, it would look better if you did this or this or that. Like, what the hell's wrong with the way I like it? Like, you know what I mean? I'm wearing it. I like it. So, a lot of things don't make a sense. They really don't make a sense. Nowadays, like, even music, old things that we grew up on that we love, now we're learning as we're awake that it had racism behind it or some subliminal bullshit behind it. And we're like, that was my childhood. It's heartbreaking a little bit, you know what I mean? But we gotta kind of expect it with the way that everything is designed here in this 3D plane and the dynamics of how life continues to go on and mutate and change and transition and all this crap. So the only thing I'm trying to understand is, I know we grow old and we grow experience and we grow wisdom and knowledge as we get old. But why doesn't common sense automatically come with all of that stuff? Like, okay, you're wise, but you lack common sense. Is it possible to even be wise and lack common sense? Because if you really think about it, common sense is what I feel opens you up to curiosity and wonder and thirst for research and knowledge and all of this stuff. So if you lack common sense, do you lack wisdom? You know, like, do they all work together? Like, you know, how items need multiple batteries to make it work. Like, is that how it is with wisdom and knowledge? Like, do you need to have common sense to be knowledgeable? I think it's needed for survival. You can't have, like, if you don't have common sense, how do you expect to survive in the street? What if you get robbed one day? What are you gonna do? Huh? I'll wait. You know, you gotta be street smart. You gotta have your senses open. And I feel like common sense does come from street smarts. Like, you know, you could have 25 million degrees from college and still lack common sense. We know a lot of people like that. A lot of people that tend to be book smart lack common sense. And a lot of people that have common sense tend to lack book smarts. I don't know why it works that way. This universe don't make sense. Like, think about it. There's a lot of shit in this life that don't make sense that we have to deal with because that's just the way the universe created it. Like, how come women last longer in bed than men? How come we can have multiple fireworks and men can only have one at a time? How come women's sex drive when they get older raises, but a man's dies? How's that supposed to work? Like, you know, certain things like that, I don't think we're ever really supposed to get the answer to. But it still makes you think. And since you can't get the answer to it, it drives you crazy. Because I know people like me, we need answers for everything. And I know not everything, like, you can receive an answer to. Like, which universe created this universe? Because everybody thinks, like, I always say this universe is, in a way, it's the divine, it's God, it's the source. But there is another universe that created this universe. Like, we have many universes and we have many galaxies. So our mind can extend as far as 20 universes ago, if that makes sense, if we wanted to. So questions, I feel, are healthy. And not just questioning like religion or choice of voting or whatever, but I mean like literally like actually thinking deeper into things. For example, like it could be as simple as what the fuck is gum made out of? Like what is it made from? How does it look when it's being made? Like simple things like that spark the brain's curiosity. And it sparks that thirst for knowledge. And then you start to research. And that's starting like the steps of expanding the consciousness in the mind. You know what I mean? So the little things that don't make sense here, like why is it called awake when they're dead type stuff, we really might be able to get the history of why that term was created and maybe connect the dots to it with the spiritual knowledge we have. Because a lot of things you will be surprised how many things we do or have around us or see around us or are becoming trends that actually have spiritual background to them. Okay? Not just holidays, but like even just, let me see. We do have the holidays that kind of tie in with the religion, not the politician part of it. But now, like, if you really think about today, they're trying to mesh both. Like, they're trying to mesh the religion and politicians together. And usually, like I said in the beginning of this video, it's a web. They have their own little section, but they are connected. So, like, if one is breaking down, the other one is going to back it up. And when... Oh, see, my brain's going so fast. Like, right now, I'm on a whole new thought. Hate this shit. So, like common sense, I just feel like it's needed. And I just wonder, can one develop it? Or do you have to be born with it? Can you develop common sense? Because I know I was raised into common sense. Like, I was born with it and just always connected the dots and put 1 + 1 and, got my answers and things like that. But can you really form it? Like, if you're not having it, can you develop it? Because I think that's a question we need to ask about a lot of things. Like the same thing with, can someone with no empathy form empathy? Like, can they all of a sudden become empathic or have compassion? Can an empty vessel actually fill a soul, if that makes sense? Can a soul fill that empty vessel? These are questions that I'm always asking. Is it possible? Or do we just automatically feel like that person's doomed because they're an empty vessel? They have no soul, no conscience, no empathy, no nothing. Is it possible to put a soul into that vessel? Or what's another one? What about people who have multiple babies at a time? Like, I know every soul is put here for a purpose or a mission, right? But what about, like, what is the mission of triplets or quadruplets or whatever? Like, are they a team? Are they already a soul tribe coming as a team? Like, do they all got the same purpose? Not the same exact purpose, but, like, is all their purposes connected because they're made at the womb all together? Like, this is just random shit that's running through my mind right now, and I wanted to share it with y'all so y'all can understand what it's like being a damn seer and getting these questions and then being so determined to try to find answers for everything. Like, I swear, if I actually paid attention to all the thoughts I had, I'd be on the computer all day researching shit. But yeah, my life ain't set up that way. Like, I got kids, I got a house to take care of, I gotta cook, I gotta, all of this stuff. So a lot of times these questions do go away, but they wind up coming right back. And then I'm like, yeah, it's time to find out the answer to this, or I'm gonna go bonkers. But we have a lot of things that don't make sense in this universe. And I don't supposed to really try to figure that out. Maybe we are supposed to figure it out. But maybe we're not supposed to figure it out in this lifetime. Because, it's tough to say. Because we're still weeding out what's man-made and what's naturally made. Not just on Gaia, but in our universe in general. Okay? We still have people that don't believe that there's man-made weather out there. Or, things like that. And it does. I'm gonna be honest. That shit sounds like a sci-fi movie. You don't realize your ass lives in the sci-fi movie. You're the character, okay? You is the character in this sci-fi movie. And all you gotta do is try to survive. Don't be the first one to die. Okay? Or destruct. Self-destruct. Or anything like that. So, yeah, life is motherfucking sci-fi. It ain't normal. It ain't boring like people think it is. There's a lot of crazy shit vibrating around you on a daily basis. Okay? I'll be honest, like I said, when my brain goes on 1,000, I feel like my brain is everywhere. There's energy just everywhere around me because I'm constantly getting these random thoughts. And then you ever get these random thoughts that you can't answer and all of a sudden you see an image of a stranger or somebody you don't know that you never seen before pop up and then another thought comes up? I get that too. I'll be thinking about how gum is made and then realizing I wish I could feel the texture of what the moon rocks feel like at the actual ground of the moon. I want to feel it. And then all of a sudden I see this random old guy standing there with a red shirt. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, what if the sun's really cold? So cold that it makes fire. Shit like that. So it's really weird how my brain works. But I like venting it out. It feels good to vent. I still got the blue in my hair. I gotta re-dye it. But, yeah, my point is, a lot of shit don't make sense in this world. Okay? We're still trying to figure out where the fuck do we fit in this lifetime. Who's supposed to be in our life in this lifetime. Mad people saying they're soul tribe, they're soul this, they're soul that. Then next thing you know, y'all hate each other. That don't make no sense. And I know it's every time we're born into a life, we are born with Alzheimer's, where we don't remember what we truly are or if we've even lived before. You have to figure it out. It's every life, you got more than one mission. Your first mission is to find out who you are authentically. And then your second mission is figuring out how you can use your authentic self to ascend or help other people. So, I tell you, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and sometimes it's tiring. Right now, I'm talking about it, and I'm getting drained as I'm talking to you. Just thinking about it, So we get these random-ass thoughts that we can't find answers to, and then sometimes, depending on the question, we obsess over it. And then when we realize, maybe we're not supposed to find the answer, it's just supposed to go with the flow shit. Then the next freaking question comes and you're just obsessing over that answer. So, it's healthy. I feel like it's healthy to get those random ass questions in your brain that are making no sense or are irrelevant to the situation you're in. We all get those random ass thoughts when we're you ever had a thought and then there's people around you and you're thinking about it and then you're like, the fuck? And they're like, what? And you're like, nothing. I'm talking to myself. Because in your head, you're like, the fuck am I thinking about this for? We're talking about poker and, I'm picturing a lion hunting a freaking giraffe or something, So it's really weird. But I don't know. Maybe it's for a reason. Maybe those random thoughts are messages, Sometimes our messages don't make sense. The ones that we receive, they don't make no sense. Sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, the hell does that mean, But it's good to question and ask random questions, hard questions that people can't really answer. I think common sense does have a lot to do with the questions you ask also. Because if you lack common sense and you're asking questions, a lot of times when you ask your questions, you find the answers to your questions as you're asking the question, if that makes sense. When you have common sense, you ask these questions that you know are almost hard as hell to find the answer to. Like, why is water blue? Why is the ocean blue? Who picked the colors of the earth? Like, why isn't it not green and white or green and yellow or, you know, something like that? Like, those are questions, of course, that are going to extend your consciousness because now you're trying to figure out, like, why the fuck is it blue and green? Like, who picked those colors? Like, is that like the human species flag is red, blue and green and brown? And, you know, so there's a lot of questions out there that we probably will never get the answer to. But I feel like those questions benefit our growth because we are craving that knowledge. Okay. And Google can kind of be your best friend, even though it's tied to the CIA and FBI and all this shit. And they watch everything you're fucking searching and looking at. Of course, your privacy's dead, but you're still thirsty for that knowledge and that wisdom. So you can use those tools to extend your consciousness. You can. You know? I always have random ass questions like that. Like, what is the weirdest questions you ever asked yourself that you never got answers to? Think about it. I know we've all had those questions. Like, my sister, when she was younger, I looked at her like, are you serious? She would ask me, what's the difference between jeans and pants? In all reality, jeans are pants. They go on your legs. But she wanted to know the difference. And of course, at that time, she was 7, I was 9. So I wasn't awake. I was like, jeans are harder and pants are more comfy. That was my answer. Jeans are like denim. But in all reality, she had a good question. What's the difference if it is pants? Jeans are pants. They go on your legs. They go wrapped around your hips like pants. So she kind of had that right, but I looked at her like it was the dumbest question in the world. But now that I'm awake, I'm really thinking about it, and I'm like, she kind of had a point at 7 years old. You know, like things like that. Like, we have to kind of put thoughts into those type of important questions, you know? Because we're here to find the answer to why we're here. We're here to find the answer to what we are, what we're capable of doing, what are we allowed to create, what do we destroy? We all know that our species destroys Earth, all this stuff. But I feel like every negative does have a positive, and we can change that. Like, we can change and stop the whole, you know, global warming and deforesting and hunting for trophy. You know, like I said, I got mixed feelings about hunting. I feel like if it's for survival and you're living in the wild and you need to survive, that's okay. Just make sure you don't waste the animal. But at the same time, it's like, we're the ones destroying everything. We're destroying everything. It's nuts. You know, when even dinosaurs and giants were on Earth, they weren't destroying everything. But they got all destroyed and wiped out. And we're here destroying Earth and we're not getting wiped out. Well, maybe one day when the aliens are like, all right, guys, enough is enough. I'm going to go set your whole society on fire with laser beams or whatever the case is. But, you know, you never know. One day they could just decide, you know what? They don't know what coexisting is. Let's show them what coexisting is. And then you got every type of species alien trying to destroy your ass. But those thoughts, they do help your frequency vibrate. They help you grow and ascend. And they do help you crave things in life that are different than what you were craving years ago when you weren't questioning nothing. You were just going along with what they told you to go along with. You know, oh, if you're not repenting to Jesus, you're burning in hell. Oh, if you're not You know, you got to be licensed to fish. You got to be licensed to build a house. You need the government's permission for everything, even getting married to the person you love. If you're the one you love is in another country, you need the government's permission to be with them. So it's like everything is controlled. And if we didn't question everything, wouldn't we just be one of those little farm animals that don't know what's going on and still eats from the hand that's about to kill us anyway? That's what is happening in our society. That is what's happening to our species. You know, that 1% is the sheep caregivers, and we're the sheep that they feed, but later on that they use. They use and abuse, just like the meat factories and, you know, all of this stuff. So, you know, like I said, I just started with the most simple ass question, and look where my mind's going now. It extends your thinking process, and it's healthy for you. What, baby?
Look what it sounds from my phone.
Yeah, but you still need you still gotta earn the SIM card.
Wait, Mama, can I download it?
You probably won't be able to use it though without the minutes.
Well, Mama, but when you're in Canada, can I try to text you?
Well, what you can do is download Marco Polo.
Because yeah, I know what that is, but
yeah, because you could send videos back and forth to me, and
but one day can you teach me how to work it?
I'll download it for you when I'm done here. I'm almost done.
Hey.
All I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with questioning. There's nothing wrong with questioning everything. And, you know, like, I still do have that question if common sense is able to be formed or if you have to be born with it. If anybody knows the answer to that, please feel free to answer with your best answer that you can come with source or whatever. But I just know that there's nothing wrong with even asking stupid questions. Like, people say there's no such thing as stupid questions, only stupid answers, but I don't believe that. I believe there are stupid questions out there too. Like, is your skin really white? And you're looking at me, and apparently, yeah, it's white, right? So, like, you know, those kind of stupid questions. So stupid questions do exist. So I don't get those sayings either. Like, a lot of these sayings are so non-making sense. But, yeah, do that. Do that time to just ask yourself. Take a moment to daydream and see where your mind takes you and what questions come to your mind and, you know, things like that. And see what the soul tells you. See what your mind is answering to it. And then what you can do is ask somebody else that question and see what their answer is and maybe see how those answers are similar or different or how they combine to make a full theory. You know, all it is exercising the mind. The mind's a muscle. Just like you would exercise your six pack, your thighs, your butt, all this, it's the same thing. So ask those questions, even the smallest ones, because it does make you thirsty for knowledge, and knowledge is power. Got it? Get it? Good. I love you guys. Enjoy your Christmas Eve. I'm going to try and make coquito later on today so I can get a little buzz with Mike and chill, probably watch a horror movie. We still haven't seen Krampus, so I probably want to see that movie. And enjoy your family and enjoy the ones that love you. For real. Okay? Because you never know. You can lose them in an instant. And there are a lot of people here having holidays without people that they lost. Send those people healing. Light a candle for those people that are hurting because their holidays are changed. You know, now their partners or their family members have transitioned from physical to spiritual plane. So they need some healing. Okay? Love you guys. Stay awesome. Stay woke. And vibrate high.